Hello, and welcome to the Table and Well podcast. I'm Tennison.
And I'm Ginelle. Thank you for joining us as we discuss topics and give practical tools that help you live, grow, and be in healthy, joy-filled relationship with God, yourself, and others.
For more information and resources, or if you're looking for coaching, connection, and community, visit tableandwell.org. We hope you enjoy this podcast. You are listening to Fingerprints, how God is transforming the relational health of his family. All throughout this series, you will hear transformational stories from everyday people just like you. But what if this transformation isn't just for them? What if it's for you too? I want to let you know that it is for you as well. And that's why we've created Relational Collabs, intentional spaces where this type of transformation becomes real. These are small, safe communities where you will practice the skills that will help you grow and build joy, rebuild your trust, enable you to stay present in the middle of hard moments, help you deeply connect to God, yourself, and others, and experience the authentic connection that your heart was designed for. See, this is more than just another class or a book study or even a Bible study. This is real life. This is hands-on. This is heart-connected, and it's changing lives. If you're tired of disconnection, and if you're longing for something more, don't just listen to these stories, become one. For more information, or to join our fall collabs starting in September, go to tableandwell.org/collabs. You were never meant to walk this journey alone. And your healing is part of how God's leaving his fingerprints in the transformation of the relational health of his family. So I'm curious now that we've kind of segued into just church life in general, which I think is great because, you know, again, you said this takes time. It's we're in for the long haul. Doesn't happen overnight. So you guys have been really walking this journey for, by the time this podcast comes out, it'll be about a year, really, with us anyway. And being intentional with your leaders and the congregation, and so I'm curious, like, what have you seen? Now, Des, you've alluded to some of the things already, but what have you seen? Maybe some of the tangible things, like, again, calling back to really this whole series of fingerprints and how God is transforming the relational health of his family. Like, where maybe some examples of some of the things that you've seen in your congregation in the church. The thing, you guys have implemented tables. You guys can talk about that a little bit and how that, and maybe what are some of those transformational things where you've seen, like, oh yeah, God's fingerprints on that. He's there. What are some of those places where it's like, yeah, we're growing and it's transforming and we're not the same church family we were last August as opposed to where we are today?
Yeah. I think I'd like to start when we did the 2-day intensive and we brought all the staff through it.
Yeah.
So when Frosty and I think Frosty brought Table and Well to me because of some of our family leaders who kind of stumbled into Table and Well. And we looked at this and we're like, this is rad. We want to investigate this more. And so when we made the decision to kind of do the 2-day course and to bring our staff all the way through, we recognize that because one of our core values in our church is family, right? Our core values are family, devotion, revival, and hope. And family just seemed to be like, I think when you're a bigger church, family's a harder core value to regulate and stay consistent in. And so, but we knew that we really wanted to go through it. Our church was kind of in a bit of a transition stage with some things. And we really wanted to do family well. And we wanted to do that because we believe in the spirit of excellence. And and so we really started pursuing this. And we said, well, if we're gonna really challenge this core value of family, it's got to be a top-down process. So, from the very tippy top of our senior pastors who are over us, all the way down to our volunteer leaders and all the way down, we want to see this shift happen. So it's not just like, it's not just Frosty and I spearhead this one thing and no one else knows what we're doing. Is that It's very possible.
Yeah.
And so I just remember just some of the encounters our staff had in the just in some of the workshop functions and some of the name's escaping me off the top of my head.
The interactive appreciation.
The interactive appreciation. And just the impact, the immediate deep impact of God just moving in all of our leaders' hearts to like tears flowing, which I love. Like I'm a big tears guy. Like everybody knows if you come to my office, you're probably going to cry. But just watching that, it was like, it wasn't like some big revelatory, like awe-inspiring thing. It was like this really deeply personal moment with God.
Yeah.
And that really, I've noticed, and because I'm a people watcher, the long lasting of just shifting the trajectory of hearts and relationships amongst us as an upper staff, and how that started to trickle down amongst other people. Sometimes I think people can feel that pastors can feel unattainable or unreachable with the kind of instinct, because sometimes pastors feel closed off. And I think in this, in going through that what I've seen for our senior leaders is just availability, the shift from being unsure to actually wanting to be available.
Wow.
And so that's huge when you have a whole set of senior leaders who are like, we want to be available, and that's just rad.
Man, I love that. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, wow.
That's cool.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I'd echo that. Like, I think one of the things that appealed about Table and Well was exactly what Des said, that we have this core value of family, but we're not doing family well. And I think what that really came from, in my own assessment, is when I first started attending the church, we did do it well, but we were also a smaller church. But then we went through this thing, 2020, 2021. You guys might remember something called COVID.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, maybe. And I just saw the relational dynamic shift in a lot of places, because people had what they thought were lifelong friends or family. And all of a sudden, because of whatever their views were politically or on COVID, on different things, now all of a sudden, these deep relationships are broken. And people were afraid of relationship, and they wanted relationship. We could tell they needed a relationship, but it's like, well, this is scary, because if I trust again, I might get my heart broken again.
Yeah.
Right. And so how do you incrementally help people start to trust again? And so when, Stephanie King, who brought these tools to us, kind of shared what they were, I'm like, what? Like, that seems too easy. And they're, the check-in tools are easy enough that you can just talk about them and someone do them. So I'm like, well, I'm going to try them with my groups that I'm doing. And then everyone's like crying and having these deep encounters with the Lord, with each other. I'm like, okay, this is exactly what we need.
Yeah.
It's like, I thought we had a deep relationship with this group of people, and we did, but no one's ever just asked, okay, well, how are you checking in?
Yeah.
And here's the emotions, and great. And then what do you need from us? And so seeing that has been huge. And I think there's the discouraging part about this is, like I said, relationship takes time. And everyone says, yes, I want family, I want relationship. It's like, great, here, we have a way for you to do that.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, I'm kind of busy. I don't know if I can make time for that. Right.
Yeah.
And so it's like their hearts, they want it, and we can see that they need it and how beneficial it would be, but no one can choose it for them. And so what we've seen as we've started to implement this is pockets of success, but we also know it's going to take time, because the more people that do it and hop in, the more people that are going to be drawn into it. I had lunch the other day with Alfred and Verinia, and I know we've had Verinia on the podcast. And she was saying a big shift for her was, like, they've always been leaders in some capacity, but just back to those mutually satisfying relationships. She's like, I feel like before I always had to show up and lead. Now I facilitate a discussion, but other people can actually be there for me. Like, well, that's huge as a leader.
Yeah, it's huge.
If you feel like you can never have people there for you, then you're just always pouring out. And it's like, where can I get poured into? And I would echo what Des said. Like, I've seen, we haven't been awesome at being necessarily consistent as a senior leadership team, checking in, but we do it. But I've seen the relational dynamic shift. And just a quick specific testimony, we're starting the process of looking for a new building. And so I got asked to lead that. So I asked a few different leaders in our church, as well as our senior pastor. And I know in the material you referred to Jamie Winship and some of his stuff. One of our, it's my dad actually that loves Jamie Winship stuff. And so he's like, okay, well, this is a big project. Why don't we just go around and take a minute and ask Jesus to tell us, reveal in our hearts what we're actually afraid of here. What's our biggest fear in taking on this project? And then let's just confess that to each other. And then let's ask them what the truth is. And so I would say a couple years ago, our senior pastor, in my estimation, wouldn't have been on board for something like that. But he just opened his heart, and all of these other guys, these guys that you would think, okay, these guys are all pillars in our church. They're leaders, they're business leaders. They probably don't have insecurities, are coming up with stuff like, man, I'm afraid that you guys are going to find out that I'm a fraud, that I don't have the skills necessary to do this. I'm afraid that we're going to fail. I'm afraid that it's going to all just come back and rely on me. And it was amazing. And it's like, wow, this is incredible. Like all of us just confessing, but because there's this relational foundation that's being built in the church of family, it's like, okay, I can do this, and it's safe to actually do that. And I was thinking, okay, we're going to come in and we're going to talk about budgets and what do we need and whatever. And I went this direction. I'm like, I'm so glad. And partly I was like, because it was my dad that was the one that suggested this, right? I was like, okay, are people going to be on board with this? And all of the guys were like, that is exactly what we need to build on. We need to do the hard work in ourselves as leaders first, to be able to see this succeed. Like that's so good.
That.
I love that. Brilliant.
Yeah. That's awesome.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
I'm curious in talking about the trickle down. So I know at the leadership, and then you guys have actually begun to implement tables throughout your congregation. Can you talk a little bit about that? What does that look like, and what fruit have you seen from that?
Yeah, I think tables, so we ran our first batch of leaders. I think we ran about 30 some odd leaders through the first batch of table training. And then, they sat amongst themselves and they did their own table for about 6 weeks. And then we kind of let them, turn them loose, go build your table. And kind of what you kind of alluded to, like, a lot of people want relationship, but then because we wanted to follow the model, like, hey, we want you as leaders to go and invite people to come be part of your table versus having a sign-up sheet,
Right.
Yeah. And I don't think we're ready for that. And so everybody who wanted relationship, all of a sudden is like, you're inviting me. I don't know if I want to be invited. I think I like the anonymity of just signing up and maybe showing up. Right.
Yeah.
So our first set of tables were kind of slow rolling. We had some successful ones. We had ones that were just gathering and they were doing.
But if I can interject here too, what was successful is we told them, initially for 6 weeks, meet as leaders, because we went through your training, right? And it was just the leaders that did the training. And she said, okay, meet as leaders. And there was a lot of fruit from that. Like a lot of people, one guy in particular, he said he's going in, he's like, well, I know who these people are because I see them at church, but I'm not opening up. I'm not sharing about anything.
Yeah.
Right. And then and then he said at the first table, as people were just present with him, he's like, I'm pouring stuff out. I'm crying. Like,
right. Yeah.
Like, oh, good. I'm glad that didn't work for you to hold it in.
Right.
And so we heard a lot of fruit there from the leaders actually just being able to show up for each other, which I think was really healing for a lot of leaders, because they've always just, like we said, just had to lead. And now they have these mutually satisfying relationships where they can just show up and check in and don't have to be the superhero for anybody. Was huge. So sorry, you keep going.
And to that point, or a lot of them are like, I don't want to stop meeting with my leader table because these guys are
Yeah.
Right.
You have to have
Yep.
another table. I'm like, yes, you have to have another table.
Yeah.
So getting past kind of the invitation awkwardness was good. But we had a bunch of tables that just that gathered, and all of a sudden it starts to become the language where
Mm-hmm.
okay, we're starting to see a shift in these people. And other people are like, okay, well, we're hearing about table and these tables because we used to do a thing called family groups, with the one and the same, but for the time being. So because we want, like, I think we talked about, you guys coined the phrase of like relational revival. We want that kind of in amongst our body, but we knew kind of the fastest vehicle is going to be amongst our family groups.
Yeah.
And so tables, right? And so to the point where everybody's going to go through some kind of training, or everybody's going to go through the table and information
Mm-hmm.
by being part of a table or going through the leadership tract. And so in all of that, it's just that whole process of like, in order for us to really get our church fully on board, it's going through all those things. And so the first batch of tables, it was kind of slow intake because people were still kind of hesitant, like, what's table, what's this? And then all of a sudden, as they go through this, and we send another invite of, hey, we're doing some more training. They're like, sign me up. I want to do this. And I think our last batch, we sent out about 100 invites. And then we had about I can't remember how many years we came to that one there, but
30, 40, that's typical though, because whatever, the day of the week doesn't work and all that kind of stuff.
That's awesome.
But those guys just finished their leadership training. Like a lot of them just finished up their leadership table.
Yeah.
And same thing, right? There's all these people who were, that were healed, that have been leaders in other places, that were part of a table, that now have come into being leadership, and they have the same kind of leadership stuff going on, and they're getting healed in leadership. And they're like, okay, I really see the value of this. And then, there's this, I call it like the red truck. The red truck paradigm, it's like, you say, oh, I want a red truck. And then everywhere you see is a red truck.
Yeah.
What's funny about this is that as we're going through this relational tables and understanding relationship and emotions and maturity and being there for each other, again, like, not only is like the rest of the church picking it up, but it's actually just filtering in naturally. Other people are being like, oh, I'm listening to these podcasts, or to these people, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, we're doing the same thing with these tables. Well, that's what tables is. And then all of a sudden it's like, so it's just,
I love that.
Coming through.
I love that. What if your relationships could change? Most of us were never taught how to do relationships well. See, when you were younger, you were told to be kind, to be nice, to play with others, to share. And then as you got older, you were told you need to listen better, you need to communicate more, and you need to share your emotions and your feelings with other people around you. But the thing is, you were never taught how to do any of those. And because you were never taught, you're all grown up, and you feel disconnected, you feel lost, and you feel alone. So here at Table and Well, we have developed Relational Collabs. Our signature training is a 24-week guided experience that will teach you practical, simple, and powerful tools and skills that are proven to bring joy, healing, and connection to your most treasured relationships. And the beauty of these labs is that you don't have to do this alone. You will gather online weekly with a community of people that are walking through and are on the same journey that you are. This is a safe place for you to learn, for you to grow, for you to share, and for you to practice these skills that you're going to be learning. See, in community is where true transformation and true growth actually happens. So whether you're married, whether you're parenting, or whether you're finding your way through this world solo, knowing how to do relationships is everything. You can grow, you can change, and you can relate differently to those around you. If this is your moment to change everything, we would love to walk this journey with you. We have 2 opportunities for transformation this fall. Mondays at 8 p.m. or Wednesdays at 11 a.m. Relational Collabs begin the week of September 15th. You can go to tableandwell.org/collabs to register today. At Table and Well, we are bringing relationships back to life. That's awesome. I love that. And I just want to just give a quick, for those that are listening, our listeners that maybe don't know what tables are, and really it's just two simple rhythms. You gather a group of people, 6 to 8 people around a table, and you simply do an appreciation, simple question of how you've seen the goodness of the Lord in your life over the last couple of weeks or week. And then there's other appreciation questions you can do. And there's reasons we do that first. And then from there, then we go into that check-in space that you guys have been talking about, where really you're checking in with your heart. What am I bringing to this space? And then the group is literally the beauty is you get to experience joy literally in the moment at the table where people are glad to be with you. So no matter how you check in, what you bring into that space, you can know that your table and your community is glad to be with you no matter what. And so when we talk about tables, that's what we're talking about. And the beauty is that you can gather just simply around the table, or that table can be part of like you said, your family groups. Like that's just part of the rhythm that you guys do as in your small groups or in your family groups. So it works either way in that way. So those that are
part of your staff meetings.
Part of your staff meetings. Yeah. So
around the dinner table at home.
Yeah. And so just knowing it's really that simple. I have another story that I think it was in a podcast. I don't remember now because we've talked to a lot of people, but it's another couple that we spoke to, and they said they were at the training, and they said, you guys basically said that the people at your table, that's going to be your small group. And she told us that she's like, yeah, we were all tables, like, and none of us liked each other. She's like, that just happened to be our group. Like none of us
admitted to each other.
They admitted to each other at the very first.
Like, I actually don't know that I want to be.
This is people that were at the training, like our training.
Yeah, yeah. No, so
awesome.
the one that we went to, that we did at that table. And they were like, we don't, they admit it at the very first one. Like when we're doing it because we're here, but I'm not sure about this.
Yeah.
We don't really like each other. And at the end, same thing. At the end, they were like, oh my goodness. Like, I love you guys. We're friends. And so it was, and so one of the beauties in that, especially with the way you guys did it in the beginning, it was like, you put people, they just got put in groups, and that was their group. And I say this a lot, you can go from stranger to family in 45 minutes when you're doing these tables. And when you have weeks together to grow in this, then all of a sudden it's like, oh, we are linked, and this is changing. And it is. And the beauty of that too, guys, is that, we talk about relational maturity, we talk about relational health. They're in the check-in space and the appreciation space, there's probably 7 to 11 different maturity skills that are actually being walked out, that people are doing, that they're not being taught. There's no lesson, there's no whatever, it's all modeling. And so you're as you're talking, Des, it's like, yeah, because they're growing and language is changing because they're actually living it out. They don't actually know what they're living out per se, but they know that something's different, and we're gonna just keep doing this. And so that's really awesome. Yeah, it's fun.
Another tool that we've implemented that has helped with this language or helps. It's one of those subtle things, like you said, that we're doing in the church, is we always have like a 5-minute connect time, because we have our kids in for worship, and then so we need time for them to dismiss and parents to maybe take them. And so during that connect time, we often will ask one of those appreciation questions. So where have you seen? So turn, talk to your neighbor, introduce yourself, share where you saw the goodness of God this week.
Wow.
Share, what's something
awesome.
fun you're looking forward to doing this summer. And so it's just a little thing, but it actually helps people relate and connect on a large scale. And so we've done that pretty continually for the past year. And I mean, yesterday I was facilitating at church, and it was hard to rein people back in. Before, it was like people would be 5 minutes seemed like a long time
right.
Right. And you see a lot of people just sitting, staring at the screen, waiting for the countdown to be done. Now it's like, okay, guys, we still have some more church to do. Like, come on back, which is a great problem to have, right? Because that's why you're there. Like, you want to connect, you want that community. I was just thinking for your listeners, if it's helpful, because I'm a structure guy.
Sure.
So it's for people, the way we've done our structure and we're learning.
Yeah.
With it,
Love it. Yeah.
is we did the training with Tennison and Ginelle. Alternatively, we've also done now the what's the name of the course? I can't remember it.
The collabs, Relational collabs.
No, the other one.
The Connection Cure.
Connection Cure.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's right. So we invite leaders, people that we see that, okay, they have some leadership ability, and take them through the Connection Cure or take them through the workshop with you.
Yeah.
Then within at that course, we have them sit in tables of 6 to 8. And so for 6 weeks afterwards, as part of the course, we have them do a table and tell them, this is what you're going to do in your 6 weeks following. Every time you get together, you're going to do an appreciation. You're going to do a check-in. That's what this is. So practice that. And so they do that for 6 weeks. And then after the 6 weeks, we want them to go out and find people to invite. Now, like Des was saying, that's proved a little tricky sometimes. So what we're experimenting with is having both signups and so, if you know someone, you want to invite people, great. And if it's full, awesome. If it's not and you have some space and you're open to having some people sign up, great, let's do that.
Cool.
What we're also going to experiment with, I think, in the fall is just maybe invite some leaders and then also anyone who wants to be part of a table to the table. So they'll all go through the Connection Cure together. So they get some common language. They have a common, experience, and they have a table already set. And so great, you've done your check-in, you've done everything, and now go and do it. Because what we've found doing this a couple times, sorry, I don't know if you can hear that in the background. Can you hear? No? Great. Okay. What we found is that, like Dad said, they meet for 6 weeks and they're like, oh no, we have to break this up to go do something different. And so we thought, okay, well, what if we brought everyone? They all get trained in those skills and a deeper understanding of why we're doing the tables. And then they just go from there. So we're gonna experiment a bit. But I thought if there's anyone listening that likes structure and knowing the structure, the method behind the madness, that's what we're experimenting with anyway.
I love that.
I love that.
I love that.
Appreciate that.
What was that, Des?
So I love being the guinea pig. It's great. This is phenomenal.
I would like to name you pioneers and
pioneers. another P word.
Another P word. Because there's a lot that you guys have taken in what we've developed here in Table and Well, and you guys have really walked out the application inside of a large church body.
Right.
And it's just been so fun and fascinating to watch what God's doing and how it's all played together. And our hearts could just explode with joy around all the fruit that's coming out of your space. And Tennison and I were talking, we're like, why do you guys have to be in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada? Why can't you be closer?
I know.
No.
So
you guys are building the church that our hearts have dreamed of. So it's really beautiful to watch.
You've been listening to the Table and Well podcast. New episodes stream every Tuesday. If you have enjoyed this podcast, please leave us a review to let us know. Also, subscribe on your favorite listening platform to stay up to date on all things Table and Well. To learn more, start your journey, or get information on how Table and Well can help develop your community, family, or teams to be relationally healthy and authentically connected, please go to tableandwell.org/collab to schedule an interest call, or you can email us directly at known@tableandwell.org.